I'm going to do a scene read from Madam X, the third book in the Illicit Things series under my adult author name of LJ Diva. It comes after her, him, in order. And it explains everything of what happens in those two books. So this is a scene read from chapter 1. I've done the first chapters for all of them. Take note of that. And here we go. Who's been a bad boy? Crack. The sound of the whip against the flabby white ass of the man rang out in the sex room of the infamous Madam X. Oh, I have, madam, I have, the man quavered. It wasn't just his voice that quivered, but every nerve ending in his rotund body. Is it good? Crack. Oh, yes, his voice barely a whisper as sweat dripped down his face and back. His hands were tied to the wall above him, but his body was sagging as his knees did. They were weak, like the rest of him. He was an overweight popular politician in the city of New York who got off on having his ass spanked with a whip, who got a hard dick from being tied up, and who had to come every night during the week. Madame caressed her black riding crop while staring at the blubbering mess of a man. Have you been a bad boy? Oh, yes, madam, yes. Ah, he arched towards the wall as the pain seared through his flabby left ass cheek. More, more. Madam slashed the whip across his lily-white ass 5 times on each cheek, then stood back and sighed. Well, you're done. Get dressed. She untied his hands and watched him slump to the floor. You can leave via the back way as usual. Thank you, madam, he whispered, and hauled himself up from the floor. Bernard Dietrich was a 52-year-old Slovakian-born, American-made man who had tastes and fetishes that were hard to accommodate. Prostitution was illegal in New York, but strangely, BDSM was a grey area. He could go to a street whore, but sex wasn't what he got off on. Having his ass spanked and being tied up was. He quickly gathered his clothes and dressed, knowing she was still in the room, watching. Thank you, madam. He zipped up his pants. Same time tomorrow night? Of course, Bernard. You're one of my best regulars. Always arrive on time and always pay on time. I'll escort you out. Madam watched the man slide on his blazer, open the sex room door and turn to her left, opening the door to the back garden and undercover walkway. Is your driver ready? Bernard checked his watch. He should be in the garage. Good night then, Bernard. She glanced over the grey-haired man and inwardly sighed. He'd been a client for 30 years and she doubted it would stop, but like all of the rest, she was making a killing out of him. The only nights he had off was a Saturday and Sunday. 5 nights a week he visited her, and she loved the money it brought him. She glanced down the walkway and saw that the light above the stairwell up to the garage was on, which meant there was a car waiting for its passenger. Looks like he's ready. Stay safe, Bernard. I'll see you tomorrow night. Yes, madam, he muttered, and furtively looking around, dashed along the walkway to the stairs and up to his waiting car, where he climbed into the back seat and lay down. The driver backed out, and madam's driver, Rocco, closed up the garage doors. She waited for him to hurry into the basement before triple-locking the heavy wooden door. That's the last one for the night. You can go home now, Rocco. Ma'am. He gave her the once-over, observing black patent leather corset and knickers with matching stilettos, black lace stockings and garter belt. Her hair was rolled up into a twist, and she wore a black and silver sequin fancy dress mask with black feathers around the top of the eyes. Don't look at me like that, Rocco. She pulled off the mask and sighed. It's what keeps you in wages. Yeah, but for how long? He followed her out of the basement. She donned a dressing gown as they went upstairs to the front door. This shit's illegal, you know. When are we gonna be busted? I don't know, Rocco. She opened the door and let him out. It could be any day, which is why I'm always prepared. Drive safe. She locked the vestibule and front doors behind him and sighed. This life was getting to be too much. 6 nights a week, she and her girls serviced the powerful bigwigs of New York. The girls with sex, she with whips and chains. Each man who came through her doors had a fetish of some kind, and she wrote every single one down. She was Josephine Pompadour, Madam X to the rich and famous of New York City, the Big Apple, the city that never sleeps, and neither did most of her clients. That's a scene read from Madam X. Crop comes in handy. Under my adult author name of LJ Diva. It is book 3 in the Illicit Things series. You do need to read them in order, her, him, Madam X, so you know what's going on. It is a lot shorter, but that's because it wasn't planned. But I'll talk about it in the book talk. So it's Madam X in ebook, print, large print and dust jacket hardcover. Under my adult author name of LJ Diva. Book 3 in the Illicit Things series. Out now at all good online bookstores. Madam X.